Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We have a really exciting webinar for you with some great experts to talk all things marketing in the Middle East, trends and talent. We're joined here today by Justin McGuire, CEO and co-founder of MCG Talent. Welcome, Justin.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. It's good to be back here. I'm super excited to be here today, and especially with Marwa and Anja.
Yeah, it's really great to have Marwa and Anja with us today. Marwa, would you please introduce yourself for everyone?
Hello, everyone, and good morning. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I'm Marwa Kaabour, the Chief Marketing Executive for Al Masaood Group. Al Masaood Group is Abu Dhabi's oldest family business. We've been around since the late 60s, and we basically operate under multiple verticals. The more common and famous ones are automotive. We have the dealership for Nissan, Infiniti, and Renault, but we do a lot of work in the industrial space. So we do marine, solar, we do hydrogen, gensets, and we do construction and real estate as well.
Thanks, Marwa. Really excited to hear more from you today. We also have Anja with us. Anja, could you please introduce yourself for everyone?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I cannot see your face, but I can still feel your energy. So thank you so much for being today, this morning with us. My name is Anja. I'm 14 years in the Middle East. The first 12 I spent with Volkswagen Middle East, being the first female marketing woman for PR and marketing director. And then recently I moved to Al Nabooda as a chief people officer. And this is a nice shift that I really want to discuss today and encourage you that once you choose your profession, you're not married to this, and that you can really try and test. And I'm today 42, and I decided to change everything I did. So I would really today try to spark this thinking when it comes to changing the professions and why this is good. On personal note, I'm the mom, I'm the wife, and I'm a big animal lovers. I have 8 at home. So this is briefly about myself.
Thanks, Anja. Really excited to speak with you today and find out a bit more about your story and your tips for everyone. So before we get started, guys, I'm going to pass over to Laura. Laura is our marketing specialist at MCG, and she is going to be looking after everyone in the comments and chat function today. So over to you, Laura, to give everyone some insight onto how they can chat with us today.
Thanks, Sarah, and good morning, everyone. So yeah, I'm just going to run through a bit of housekeeping. If you do have to dash off at any point, a recording will be available afterwards for all registrants. But if you stay with us on the live, you'll be able to ask us questions in real time using the chat function. To do that, if you wiggle your mouse at the bottom of the screen, you will see there's a chat box. So if you click on it, you can pop your questions in there at any point during the webinar. The questions will be completely anonymous. Only myself and the panelists will be able to see them. So please don't be shy, ask away, get your questions in. We're going to answer as many questions as we can, and we will have breaks throughout the webinar to answer some of those questions with a longer Q&A section at the end. So to get us used to using that chat function, I'm going to begin by asking you a question. So we'll do it in the reverse to start with, and you can pop your answers in that chat box. So my question for you is, what is the most noticeable trend you've seen in the marketing industry this year? I'm going to pop it in the chat function now as well. And whilst you're popping your answers back to me, Sarah's just going to run through the agenda.
So in terms of what we have in store today, the things that we're going to be discussing are trends that we've seen in 2024. That includes things like AI and short form content. We're also going to be looking at marketing as a career path, and I'm sure that you guys are really interested in hearing from the panel about that. And we're also going to look at talent, of course. How can you stand out as a marketeer, and how can you secure that dream job in the Middle East? So we're really excited to speak to you about all of those things today. Laura, I can see that we've already had some responses come through. So what trends are people seeing this year so far?
So we're getting a lot of people saying AI, which is something that we are going to talk about. So we're going to come to that. We're going to ask our panelists all about what's happening with AI in the marketing industry. A lot of people are talking about short videos, another topic that we're going to talk about. And we've also had someone mention that we're moving towards playful kind of Duolingo content, which is super interesting. Sustainability's cropped up there as well, which is another interesting trend that I'm sure we'll touch upon today. So back to you, Sarah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So without further ado, I guess we'll get ahead with our agenda for today. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is trends. So let us explore the trends that we've seen in 2024. Marwa, I'm going to come to you on this first as our marketing expert. You're really immersed in the industry every day. So what trends have really stood out to you in 2024?
So from my side, because I work on multiple industries, I can clearly see that there's a new trend emerging, which is a trend for a multifaceted marketeer. And these are individuals that either have their marketing basics right or they are learning it. But in addition to this, we see that we need marketeers who can do social, who can do community, who can do content, and who can even go into step into video productions and content production and content creation as well. The reason behind this is because a lot of the economy is now dependent on SMEs, startups. We see a lot of brands that really don't have the bandwidth to go into hyper specialization when it comes to applying marketing practices. So we really need a marketeer who is really receptive, who's passionate about marketing and comms. I will add comms into the pool over here, who's comfortable working on PR, on content, on social media, on video production, and in a way just ready to roll up their sleeve and to be very versatile in the type of deliverables that they need to deliver and bring to the table altogether.
Great, thanks. Really interesting, Marwa. Anja, I want to come to you to kind of see if you agree. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, fully agree with Marwa. Being on the marketing side for so many years, there was one way of how I look into the trends. Now being on the recruiter or chief people officer side is completely different how I look into marketeers and the trends when I'm hiring. And it's a bit of selfish because when you are sitting and when you need the best for your team, you really choose what is the best for you and which talent you will choose to complement each other. And then you choose a little bit of specialists, right? Because you need a team built of different specialists to support each other. While now, what I can see moving to more family business and more automotive when it comes to the dealership role, I can see actually that generalists are very important because they can carry more work and they can support business more. So I don't say that one or other are better or worse. The world needs both, right? Especially the support us in giving us such a zoom into specific areas, and that the generalists are giving us this zoom out, showing us what else we can do. But these are the two trends that I literally see because no matter in which industry you're operating, we need both. It's just where your professionalism or where your needs are going. But just to be on the safe side, we need both generalists and specialists. And this is the biggest trend I saw this year, that somehow this polarization of different sides.
Yeah, thanks, Anja. And then Justin, to come to you, have you seen the kind of generalist, specialist, marketeer trends come through in recruitment, or is there any particular kind of marketing roles that have become quite high in demand in 2024?
So from our perspective, I think I take quite a holistic viewpoint of everything, because our customers are agencies and consultancies. I put those together. They are corporates and government entities, and they're technology companies. Okay, and so the trend amongst them all is everyone now is incredibly interested in YouTube, in the video space, in the tech, in influencer space. We've probably had more inquiries, more interest on that part. That's a real trend I've seen happen in 2024, sort of rise in importance of the influencer and people understanding video work, video And also we're seeing in-house creative teams being built, probably at a slightly faster rate than I've seen happen before. So that's some of the interesting insights we've seen. Another insight that I'm going to give you is we've never had more interest from people abroad wanting to come to move to the Middle East than ever before. Right now, I think there is, in some areas of marketing, I'd say there's candidate saturation, i.e. from a generalist marketing perspective, we've got so many marketeers from Asia, from Europe, from America that want to come here, that actually regional experience is becoming a premium, because you need to understand the ecosystem here. And that itself we're seeing as a real something that's held in premium right now, along with, of course, language skills. So I'm seeing, the good news is marketing is as popular as ever. People are wanting to get into the industry. I think I'm seeing a real shift into video production, creative. I'm seeing the rise of the influencer. I'm also seeing more interest than I've ever seen before from people wanting to come here from abroad.
Very interesting. And I think the video element and influencers, we're definitely going to dive into that a little bit deeper in the next couple of questions. So one of the trends that I wanted to speak about with you today is AI, if we can call it a trend at this point. But how significant has AI's impact been on the marketing industry? And then I'm keen to get a couple of examples of where you've perhaps seen that it's been used effectively. Marwa, I'll come to you first with this one.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. I think AI is going to make the industry a lot more productive, and I think AI is going to shape the corporate world altogether. I was one of the early people who were a bit skeptic about AI, given the fact that I love writing and writing is my hobby, and I thought AI is never going to do what a real writer can do. I take that back at the moment. So what I can tell you is that AI is actually allowing organizations to become a lot more efficient. And here I'm going to draw some examples from my current job, which are not only specific to marketing. So yes, the first thing we did is we put our marketeers, and we do have an in-house design unit on an AI training. We started using Canva, we started using Midjourney, we started using ChatGPT, of course, and we also have Autopilot. But we also noticed that AI can actually truly help you draw a lot of efficiencies. So I will take, for example, legal matters. We adopted an AI platform called Luminance, which really allows you to draft your NDAs faster, to put in the reviews on legal contracts a lot faster. We also have basically AI for our call centers. So I remember 14 years ago, I worked for a bank, and we wanted to join our call center with our social media community management to allow our call center agents, who are very fluent in verbal communication, to tackle customer inquiries and complaints on social media. But the biggest challenge we had is that they weren't efficient in writing. And so we had to pre-write messages for them. And today this is resolved with AI, because you can use AI Whisper, and your call center agent, who might not have the best writing skills, can whisper to ChatGPT what they're trying to communicate with the customer, and get your social media community done right as well. So I think AI is here to stay. Using AI the right way and getting the right training and the right adherence to it is going to help organizations tremendously, and it's going to really open doors for everybody in terms of potential growth on the job.
Yeah, definitely. Anja, what's your take on AI? Are you a lover, a hater?
No, like I'm addicted to AI, and I love AI, and I would say AI is for everyone, but it's not, the level of usage is not for everyone. And I would define this: I'm very organized and very structured. So for me, AI, it's my right and left hand. And in that case, it's really supporting me to be even more efficient. So you can see that if you're well organized, you will know how to use it, even to speed up everything that you're doing. I'm just worried for people who are more creative and all over the place, could put some boundaries and maybe stop them, being quality enough. So where I'm using the AI, it's very manual work, drafting the job descriptions, warning letters, basic templates for my daily work. So anything that doesn't need my empathy part, and that's the most important thing when it comes to AI. And I'm very, very people first, right? For me, body language and energy and the way how I speak and express myself is very important, which AI will never give me a chance. So that's very important. That I can see that the AI taking way more decision makings based on data, and we have to stop this. Yeah, we have to bring humanity to the room. So for me, you cannot let AI overtake your feelings and your decisions just because it's it's somehow even sounds smarter than myself when I'm writing the things, but still you have to somehow stop yourself in the moment when you see it taking over your humanity part. Yeah, and that's where I'm really good now in managing. I know exactly where in my life and my job AI stands, and I'm not allowing taking other things. I still want to be very much human. So basically, example is when I write LinkedIn posts, it's 100% my words. When I'm writing corporate emails, it's 100% AI. So I'm using black and white examples, but overall, it's very, very clear to always have this line between where you don't allow AI to step over more. Yeah, and that's a very tricky part because it's so easy to get used to simple and faster things. It's in human nature, on better.
Yeah, I think you can definitely get very used to it helping you. So it's good to be able to draw that line with it. Justin, from a recruitment standpoint, how much have you seen AI creep into the recruitment process?
Well, AI is, in terms of sourcing and finding, I think it's well known that AI is helping shorten the length of time to find people. It's helping us seek and find potential candidates. There's multiple systems out there right now which can assist you. What it doesn't do is first of all, it doesn't take over the job. It just makes it easier. Okay, and I think that's what the common thread that a couple of people, Anja and Marwa, said now is that it's here. It's not taking over. The robots are not taking over our jobs in some respects, and in some elements, they're making it a little bit easier and faster as for activate some things that we need to do. They're assisting us become more organized. That's great. But recruitment is a people-orientated business, so I'll never allow it to take away from the humanity of the job, because ultimately we get paid a fee to find the person who we think's right based on our interactions with them as well. There needs to be a trust and buy-in there. Okay. From what I'm seeing from marketing, hires that our clients are asking us to seek and find for them, are we getting briefed on positions where people are being quite nitty-gritty about having to need AI skills? No, not seeing that at all, actually. I'm not seeing. People still want traditional good marketing skills. People want skill sets within, there are some tools and technology that people expect candidates to have or to be able to acknowledge, but we're not seeing anything like you must be an AI enabler now. We've just not, in marketing, we're not seeing that come through at the moment. It's still, it's very early days in the technology. Let's not forget that. So that'll be a big reason why. But at the moment, we've not seen any robots taking over anyone's jobs. If anything, they've just been enhancing what people do. And in recruitment, it's just helping us find people faster. But it's, again, not taking over the job. So that's AI, as far as I'm concerned. It's helping. It's enabling.
Yeah. All sounds very positive on all fronts on the marketing and recruitment side. Now, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but to dive into it in a bit more detail, in the Middle East, how much are brands utilizing short form content and influencers? It seems to be becoming more and more prevalent. So I just want to open this up to the panel and see who has an opinion on that. So whoever wants to jump in here, feel free.
I'm happy to jump in. So we all know that the Middle East is one of the youngest regions in the world, and with the youngsters comes faster technology adoption. We are also a region that is not highly regulated, so legislation is always behind, and this is leading to a massive adoption of short-term form, but that's simply because the market has not matured yet. Short-term form is very difficult. It's very difficult on everybody, even on content creators. We always hear from them that it's very hard for them to really squeeze in brand messaging into 5 seconds and 15 seconders, thinking it through. I think it's a matter of time until the market matures and we start seeing more focus on long-term form, such as YouTube videos, which is very prevalent in the US. We're lucky to be here in the UAE, where we see a lot more focus on legislation as well. I personally believe that short-term form is really damaging to a human brain and to our attention spans, and we see that already. And we really do need legislation to come in and regulate the scene at the moment.
Thank you, Marwa. And yeah, I'm keen to get your opinion on this as well.
Look, Sarah, I'm the old-fashioned marketeer. I hate short forms, not because they cannot spread the message and be nice, but it's just because I love storytelling and the proper branding, and all of these things I see are getting lost in the short forms. In the end, everything looks simple and easy, but people underestimate that even for the short term, there is a lot of work put behind, that this is so impactful and easy to understand. A lot of research and testing and sleepless nights between the strategy and creatives. What really doesn't excite me with the short forms, it's that, as Marwa said, it's so difficult to say about your brand and your values and what you achieve in the 5 seconds, and somehow making marketing even less valuable, I would say, because somehow people think everyone can do it today because it's so simple. So somehow doesn't go in the professional way of emphasizing that marketing is a science and it's a creative, and it's equally important like any other profession, because today it's somehow acceptable for everyone to do the short forms. And this is something that with few years back, I start feeling that is not for me. And that was one of the ways why I also changed the career path, because I didn't see myself anymore being a marketeer in the world of short forms. As I said, I love the storytelling, and I think it's in the heart of everyone to connect with people on emotional level. And I cannot find this anymore possible with the short forms.
Yeah. You said something really interesting there, Anja, about the marketing behind science and the opinion, the science behind marketing, sorry, and the opinions that people kind of have about what marketeers kind of create and put out into the world. So the last question that I have for the panel in this section is about marketing as a career path, and what does that look like in 2024? Marwa, can you start us off with this one?
Yeah, this is really a good question. I see that with the young ones, there's this notion that marketing is easy. I recently met a university student on a plane, and I asked him what he's studying, and he said, I'm studying marketing at the Canadian University. And I was very intrigued to see how excited he is about the field. But his response to me was, I'm only doing this for my parents. Marketing is something I can learn off YouTube. I'm planning to join my brother in real estate after I graduate. And I guess it's one of those fields that needs a bit of a revamp, or maybe a massive revamp. This is probably why Anja and I spent a lot of time in the community trying to really marketing in general. My rationale is that marketing as a field is a bit old, and it was really an output of the Industrial Revolution, when all of the big brands that were very inspiring back in the days were manufacturing brands, your Unilevers, your Master Foods, your Nestle's, your PepsiCo's. And if you look at the top 10 brands in terms of brand love and value today, only 2 of physical products are there: Mercedes for cars and L'Oreal. The rest of the top brands are tech, and tech is an after sale. It's a service. It's an intangible product. So I would definitely love to see some sort of a rewriting of the theory when it comes to what is marketing. We can't really say the 4 Ps are what marketing is. There's storytelling, there's purpose, there's planet, there's passion in marketing. There's the miraculous way of building great narrative that is standing the test of time, that is there. And this is something that textbook does not teach you today. when it comes to marketing.
Yeah. Anja,
And it would be great if we change that, if we change the your storytelling in marketing textbooks. You still hear of the price, place, promotion, proctors, procurement, value chain, supply chain, yada yada. I'll pass on to Anja.
No, fully agree, 100% with Marwa. And often I'm at the university doing the lectures when it comes to the marketing. And this is exactly marketing. If you are sitting in the company, your marketeer, the change is so rapid. And that's also the problem sometimes if I want to pull one team member, put somewhere else, they're not even ready to change the scope inside of the marketeers, because if you are 1 year behind the social media, it's so difficult to come back. So that the speed and the change, it's huge. And can you imagine now our educational system, obviously it's not moving as fast as the marketing in the real life. And that's why I'm always saying, and this is my big advice to all the young marketeers. One thing, it's amazing. You can study marketing, you can go to the MBA, you can master it, but that's all. It's a bit of classical, old-fashioned way, because universities and professors there, with all due respect, they're still not ready to change and understand how fast the world is moving when it comes to the marketing. My advice is, education is very important. No one can take this from you one day, but find a mentor and start working and do at least the internships where real marketing is happening, when real life is happening, which is, being the intern in any big companies. And then you will be able to see the difference of what is in the books and actually what the real life looks like. But only sitting in the classroom, reading and educating based on the books will never give you this, readiness to start and work. So we see the huge difference, right? When it comes to sales, when it comes to after sales, these are all the serious professions that you learn, and then you are upscaling your knowledge. But when it comes to the marketing, we are not developing as fast as the industry is developing. And that's the problem. When Marwa and I get the freshly graduate students or interns, they are not ready. They're really admin officers, to be honest. And then you have to recognize the potential, and then you start investing and teaching. But we cannot see that we are getting good marketeers from universities these days.
Yeah, very interesting. And then Justin, to come to you as a business owner and as a recruiter on this question, what do you feel is kind of more valued in the Middle East when it comes to that real life experience versus the quality kind of education, or does it always need to be a mixture of both?
Well, I'm going to come at this from a few angles. So first of all, I don't know if Anja, I don't know if you know this. I started off in marketing agency world before becoming in recruitment. So welcome to the world of human people in HR. It's a lovely choice to make. Now, I did 7 years at an agency. Absolutely loved it. It was the best thing. Honestly, I worked in an agency in London. I worked on radio, TV, and digital content, and it was just one of the best things I've ever done. And the people I met were super creative and interesting, and that knowledge that I had from there, that period of time has been the foundation for every decision that I made in business, because I learned how to become a marketer. I learned how other agencies and how I learned how a lot of businesses, all our clients, felt and thought about marketing and the important role it played in their business. Now, fast forward to me being a business owner in recruitment, marketing is at the heart of everything we do. I'm sure lots of people here have seen me on LinkedIn the whole time. I'm sure lots of people see our brand logo across on LinkedIn the whole time. Why? Well, because marketing's of extreme importance to us. Who we are as a brand, how we speak, how we market ourselves, it is crucial to us as sales. Now, I spent the weekend with a bunch of digital guys who run digital businesses. The most important thing to them in scaling their business was marketing, okay? So absolutely do I think it plays a crucial part. I think perhaps the word marketing hasn't become as sexy as it used to be, that perhaps it's got a bit of a brand image perspective there. But I think once you get into the heart of business, you realize marketing and sales are your lifeblood, okay? And really, I think perhaps we could all do a job of trying to improve the image of the word marketing, but in essence, marketing is at the heart of everything. And anyone that scratches the surface and gets involved in business quickly realizes that. And I will say that I think there's been a bit of a resurgence of interest in marketing. I think when people realize that digital technology, creativity all flows into that, I think that's where we're seeing real interest. We've got interns that join our business. I do talks along like you guys do at universities. And I think there is that, once we can start putting some passion behind that and the glam and glitz of tech, which really is a marketing play as well, comes off, I think people will realize that marketing is the heart of everything. So, so there you go. That's a big long waffle from me, but I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, well, as a marketeer, I would be inclined to completely agree with you, Justin. So thank you very much. All right, well, that brings us to the end of our first section, and I can see that we've had an absolute bunch of questions come in. So I want to make sure that we can get as many questions to our panel as possible. So I'm going to hand over to Laura, who's going to ask a couple of questions before we move on to our talent section.
Yeah, we've had tons of questions, as our panelists can also see. So I'm going to have to be quite selective at this point, but keep putting your questions in because we are going to have a longer Q&A session at the end. Now, I thought this question was really interesting, and we're going to go back to that short form content section. Do you think that short form will be short-lived and we'll get back to longer forms in marketing, or that trend is here to stay? So I'm gonna ask Marwa first.
Let's be honest. Let's not be the type of people who believe that any emerging technology is short-lived. It rarely is the case. There's one thing you need to remember, that short form was created for users, and short form works best when it's a user-generated content, because it gives the space for the users to really produce something that is a blueprint to their character. Now, brands always come in second or last into a new space of technology. So short form was not meant for brands, it was meant for people. So the only way for brands to do short form right is to use it through the people instead of trying to do it themselves in the traditional way that they've done other forms. For example, when we started short form and opened our TikTok channels for the automotive brands, we decided for the first year not to create any TikTok specific format. It was 100% repost from users who are basically our customers. And we earned 1 million followers in the first year because we understood that short form is for the users, not for brands. Later on, we started, working with it and trying to find ways. So it's very important to understand why the technology was built in the first place. I would say it's here to stay for now until legislation comes in, or until the wear and tear of the life cycle comes in, which is a couple of years from now.
Interesting. And Anja, I know you're not the biggest fan of short form content, but what's your take on it? Do you think it will be short-lived?
No, unfortunately, I think we'll stay for some time, and I can see my 9-year-old daughter, she doesn't watch anything except reels and short forms, and these are the new generations and new customers. Also, the amount of content and amount of things that today people can do compared to when we were marketeers and when we were enjoying in the long forms, and storytelling is completely different. Your day, your hours are getting so short because there are so many things, and definitely between choosing 20 reels or one proper video, you will go with 20 reels because you just have time. So how everything, the speed and the development, definitely, I think we are staying a little bit longer in the short form, unfortunately. Yes. Yeah. I'm not optimistic. Yeah.
Can I just throw something out there? Because again, because I'm at the moment, we produce short form and long form content, right? And what I've noticed a real trend is that our short form reels them in to indulge in our long form content. So isn't there surely there's a place for both, right? There's a place for both in the ecosystem, and one feeds the other. And I notice, Anja, with my kids, they're absorbing long form YouTube content now. There are these channels that they watch. Like I used to watch traditional TV back in the day. They have 5 million, 6 million subscribers, but they get sucked in on the short form, and then they subscribe to the long form content on the channel. So there's a place for both, I reckon. There's a place for both, Anja.
Yeah, I really hope. But this content that they're consuming, that's not the content that I'm referring like an old-fashioned marketeer. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, yes, they're consuming a lot of YouTube videos, but this is not what I would like people to consume in future. Yeah. It's entertainment rather than storytelling. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, I have still questions coming in. Now, a lot of them are about talent, so I'm going to hold off on asking those questions until the talent sections. We've talked through those questions because I feel like a lot of these questions will be answered then. However, there is one question that is addressed to you, Justin, but I'm going to ask you, and I also want to ask Anja because she's got first-hand experience of career changing. So Justin, what is the level of challenge for a marketer who has expertise in one industry, for example, FMCG, to get an opportunity in another industry in the Middle East market?
Okay, so if you'd have asked me this question 5-6 years ago, I'd say pretty hard, actually, pretty hard. What I've noticed is that there's a great degree of flexibility now, more focus on skill set than there is on sector. Okay, and that we've been moving more and more people through different markets now as a result. It used to be in this market, and I came from the UK market, and I've lived in the Asian market, where the swap of agencies to agency staff to client staff was very frequent in those markets. Middle East, I never saw it happen. Now I'm starting to see that happen as well, because businesses are interested in different skill sets. They're interested in diversity, and they've realized some of the benefits from that. So I think it's changing, Laura. I think it's changing slowly but surely. It is changing. I think, but again, it's going to depend on the sector. I will put a little pin onto that, because if you've got, if the core function of the marketeer is very specific to that nature, for example, medical, we very rarely. When someone's very specific within medcare, it's quite hard to take them out that sector. But from FMCG, hospitality, luxury goods, we find that those markets are a bit easier to cross-pollinate.
Mm-hmm. Now, Anja, oh, sorry, Marwa.
I add to that because I'm a person who jumped a lot of industries. So I also started my career at the agency side. I did 14 years in 2 of the best agencies in the world, Leo and Impact BBDO, greatest days of my career. And then I moved to the client side. And so on agency, you learn how to absorb the industries very quickly. So I did airline, I did real estate, I did fast-moving consumer goods, and then I moved to pure luxury retail. And from there, I jumped to banking. And we all know how difficult it is and the barriers to entry to banking is if you're not a banker or if you don't have banking experience. But I was very persistent, and the way I marketed myself is basically I'm someone who can work and according to tailor-made budgets. I'm not a halo marketeer who can only work with, a system of A-class agencies. And so I am someone who is entrepreneurial. I am someone who is flexible and adaptable. And I had to sell myself hard. So I had to really write those cover letters that explain how nimble I am and how I built a system where I can understand industries quickly and dive into work very efficiently. So it is doable. And just like Justin said, the region is now more receptive to people from different industries to basically jump ship from one industry to another.
Thank you, Marwa. And Anja, it's a little different because rather than industry, you switched from kind of marketing to people. Was that difficult for you?
Look, it's all about the mindset of the leadership who's hiring people, right? And this is what Justin said. The change is happening, but it's slow. But we need more of these managing directors and CEOs who really value the talent and the experience rather than job role. Is it difficult? It's super difficult, because if someone reads my CV, would never put me as a chief people officer position, right? Because being marketeer. So someone really has to know you. And this is where personal connections, your personal branding, and all the network that you're building pays off, right? Because you are building this for years that people actually knows what are your skills, not your job role. That's number one. But this is happening rarely. When I changed the jobs, there were more people who were saying, oh, you know what happened? Why did you do this? And then you had a smaller percentage where people were saying that's absolutely the best decision because HR needs people from marketing. In the end, everything is about communication, right? So really, you think about the person, you don't think about the box that this person has to fill. at the end of the day, HR is not a rocket science, right? It's all down to connections and people, and then there are rules that you have to follow. But at the end, that's easy to learn. So my point is that your network is so important if you want drastically to change your job roles. No one ever will give you a position if they don't know you or personally, or they don't know what you're doing in life, because just to send a CV and say, I want to be HR from today, this will not work, right? So you have to start building the space for you. You have to know what you want to put out there when it comes to the comments and the posts and maybe the articles, to slowly build yourself for the different industry. So cannot happen over time, especially for senior C-level positions. But it's really worth and fulfilling, because at the end, this is what I said at the opening. Once we decide what we want to do in life, we didn't merit these professions. So it's perfectly fine to change your opinions. You are growing, your interests are changing. You know, I was so passionate marketeer 14 years ago, but then when I get opportunity to lead people, I understood that actually my passion is with people, not anymore with building brands and chasing the clicks and likes, because fulfill me more now seeing that people are growing and I can develop. And that's perfectly fine, because I didn't know about myself these things when I was 25 years old. So that's why I'm saying, like, give yourself freedom to explore, and something magical will happen one time comes. Because once you're exploring, you're seeding something back in your mind that potentially this could be in your profession. So just with exploration, you are collecting different experiences, and one moment you will say, this is what I want to do. And for this needs time, and needs a lot of years in the profession, that you can finally start listening yourself, because that's a luxury at the end of the day. Like, what you want to do, you have to earn this with a lot of years of building this. So it's possible, yeah. Okay. And it's really rewarding at the end, yeah.
Okay, great insights, great advice as well from all of you. I'm going to hand back to Sarah to kick off our talent section, because we are running a little bit over, but keep your questions coming in the chat and we'll get to as many as we can at the end.
Thanks, Laura. Our first question, I think, Marwa, Anja, you both touched on this, but keen to see if there's any more kind of insight from you both. We've seen from our side a record amount of candidates looking to move to the Middle East and secure roles in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Riyadh. What's your advice to candidates on how they can stand out and secure a new role if they're looking to maybe move to the Middle East for the first time?
You want me to go ahead with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, gosh, I've literally just had this conversation with someone. First of all, you've got to make anything that you have relevant to the region absolutely clear. So regional experience, if you've got that, focus in on that. If you don't have that, you've got to, it's a lot harder right now. Competition is fierce. So I'd say you physically need to probably come out, get people to meet you, try and see if you can, show people that you're committed to the move. Network with as many recruiters and HRs and CMOs as you can. Be seen in the right place. And I think the other thing I'm going to say is make yourself famous. What do I mean by that? I mean, there's the, LinkedIn is a tool there, and there's personal branding is a tool with which you can really demonstrate who you are as an individual and who you are as a candidate. And I think it's a trick that many miss. They think, it's so easy to apply to a job now. You just press the button. It's like going, it's like buying groceries in the supermarket, right? Some people we speak to don't even know they've applied to jobs. It was so easy. That's quite a funny thing, right? So people I think if you're going to really put the effort into moving out here now, you need to make getting that job a job, put effort behind it, build your personal brand, and really emphasize what makes you stand out as an individual. And if you do that, you've got a chance. You've got a chance.
Yeah. You said it all.
There we go. Yeah.
And Marwa, I just wanted to come to you on this, because I know that we see this at MCG Talent sometimes, is that Abu Dhabi sometimes doesn't get the kind of glitz and glamour approach from candidates in the same way as Dubai does. But I know that that's where you're based, and something that you're quite passionate about as a business hub. So I just wanted to speak to you about the potential that candidates have when it comes to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I would say, Habibi, come to Abu Dhabi. Look, I've done 14 years of my career in Dubai, and I'm completing another 14 in Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi has a lot to unpack. I mean, I've just published an article and campaign on Abu Dhabi brands and how purpose-driven they are, how focused on sustainability they are. Abu Dhabi was declared the richest city in the world. It's crisis immune. I've been through COVID in Abu Dhabi. We didn't have layoffs. We didn't have salary cuts. The organizations and the brands in Abu Dhabi are really beautiful homegrown brands that actually embrace global standards. Let's look at G42, the third largest artificial intelligence company in the world and the third largest cloud. They're adopting, great projects when it comes to scientific research on genomes. Abu Dhabi will soon become the first autonomous city. They've already mapped out the city and they're basically embracing autonomous vehicles. Sustainability is again one of the biggest pillars. So you see great brands when it comes to energy are moving into renewables. We have great adoption of solar, of hydrogen. There's Masdar, there's Etihad Airlines, and there's great family businesses in Abu Dhabi as well, such as Masaood, Yas Holding, and now we see a lot of developments when it comes to tourism and experiential brands as well. There were a lot of times when I found it hard to convince Dubai-based marketeers to actually move to Abu Dhabi. I would really love for people to give Abu Dhabi a chance. I've been working here for 14 years. It suited me very much when I became a mother because there's great work-life balance when it comes to Abu Dhabi. The rents are cheaper and it's not very busy on the roads, if that helps. That's what I have to say.
There you go.
I'll
I
chip
think
in
you
here.
must have convinced.
It's also been named the safest city in the world, so safety is important.
Largest sporting hub in the world. All of the big sporting events take place in Abu Dhabi, including Spartan and others. A lot to unpack in this city, I would say.
There you go. Maybe we should have been sponsored by Abu Dhabi for this one. All right, perfect. And then just to touch on, you mentioned there, Marwa, around kind of convincing Dubai-based marketeers to think about Abu Dhabi. Apart from kind of thinking about different places that you might be able to work within the region, what tips does the panel have for marketing talent that's already based in the Middle East and is potentially looking for their next opportunity or their next opportunity for growth, maybe that next step in their career? What's your do's and don'ts for marketing talent in the region? Anja, I'll come to you on this one first.
Okay. So what are the grow options? Yeah. So because Dubai.
Yeah, just any advice you have for marketing talent in the region who's looking to grow and develop.
Yeah, again, really depends, and this Justin nicely said, it really depends on the industry you are operating. Let's keep to the marketing. When I was in the regional office, the language wasn't important, right? Like the English was the common language, and we really didn't depend on Arabic. My shock, oh God, here moving to the family business, it's Arabic, it's extremely important. So really depends where you end up being. I can see that the need for the Arabic speakers and the Arabic marketeers in Nabooda automobiles, it's way stronger than in a regional office. So it really depends. And this is the first shock that I experienced, because at the end, you have to speak Arabic if you want to operate in Dubai market, because based on the brands and then what we are doing. So that was something that I didn't expect to see, because I already had an idea of what are the people I would like to bring on board. But this is something that you really have always to listen the market. And that was one of big things that I learned in the last 3 months. Yeah. So every industry, no matter if we are all in the marketing industry, depends where you decide to work, really defines which skills you have to bring on board. You know, if you're going to regional office, if you're going to startups, if you're going to tech, it's really different, which is amazing, because it means that we need everyone and we need so different skills. So it's very encouraging for people that no matter if you don't speak Arabic, don't worry. You know, there's a lot of companies that need your skills. So that was encouraging, but in my case was, okay, I have to start from scratch because I never thought that this would be number one I need to search.
Yeah. And then Marwa, Justin, when it comes to marketing profiles, I'm sure you both see quite a lot of them. Is there anything that really makes someone stand out at the moment when you get their CV or their LinkedIn or their cover letter kind of passed across your desk?
Marwa?
So what I wanted to say is, if you go to the real definition of marketing, it's, you know, it's basically looked at as retail marketing, or basically the empowerment of sales and operations. But if you look at brands in the Middle East, specifically in the United Arab Emirates, we're really not a manufacturing region. So a lot of the brands that we have are brands that require corporate communication and PR as well. And the marketeer is expected to do both, you know, is expected to do a bit of PR, a bit of B2B, a bit of corporate comms, as well as marketing, because the region is not a hardcore marketing region. When we say marketing, we're talking production, and we're talking packaging and shelf life and pricing, but not all brands are that. If you look at Abu Dhabi again, if you look at all the brands, what we do is predominantly comms and marketing as well. And I was a hardcore marketeer. I worked in retail marketing and advertising agencies, and I learned my way through comms. And I see a lot of marketeers who refuse to find harmony in both ends of the spectrum, who always approach the interview and say, no, I don't do writing. No, I can't write you know, press releases. I've never dealt with a PR agency before. And, you know, with ChatGPT, writing is very easy right now. You need to have an open mind, and you need to understand that we are a marcoms region. We are a region that requires both comms and marketing, and we will not always have those two disciplines separated. We expect you to know a bit of everything from the spectrum. So you need to be someone who's able to run events and digital campaigns and social media, and also launch through PR and other channels as well. So please keep an open mind and show receptivity to being someone who can adopt marcoms, not just marketing alone.
Perfect. And then Justin, just to kind of stay on that same line of discussion, is there any skills or roles that you're seeing become more in demand in the region? I know that Anja mentioned Arabic, which I know as a business we've seen the uprise in people looking for Arabic.
Look, regional experience, language experience, that is a premium. I think we've said quite a lot on that. I think the first part of your question is interesting, which was what CVs, cover letters, everything stand out. And I'm going to say that don't send a CV or cover letter and then do something different, a bit more creative, and then you're more likely to stand out, right? So in the world of video, in the world of, but like I said, go back on personal branding, you know, if people can see your profile and get and understand who you are, and if you produce short, sorry, Anja, and long form content, then, you know, the chances are you might stand out as a candidate, right? I think you've got to be a bit creative now to stand out in the Middle East, because we get, as hiring managers, as recruiters, we get bombarded. And so you've got to do something that's going to think outside the box. Leverage the skill sets that are in, you know, that you probably need to, if you've got them, take advantage of. If you understand video editing, if you understand social influencers, if you're very engaged in digital marketing, that's going to, you know, your chances are you're going to stand ahead of others. But you're going to need to be patient, right? You're going to need to be patient because it's, you know, it's a market. It's still relatively small market in global comparative terms, and it's in high demand. So you've just got to really play a waiting game, be persistent, be consistent, meet as many people as you can. Come out. The sun's shining now in Dubai. The sun's shining everywhere else. Come and see us. The weather's not too hot, and then you've got much more of a chance to get hired.
Great advice. Thanks, Justin. Now I'm conscious that we've got 5 minutes left of our scheduled time. So I know that we have a lot of questions that are unanswered and a lot of people wanting to ask the panel some interesting things. So I'm just going to hand over to Laura now so that we can get through as many questions as possible.
Thank you. Yeah, we've had loads, so I've had to be quite selective again. But I'm going to start by asking a question that's relevant to what we've just spoken about. Is there more scope for PR and comms? I know, Marwa, you mentioned marcoms, as opposed to larger marketing roles?
In the region where I am, sorry, Justin, you wanted to take this?
I was sorry, I just was a bit confused by the. Is it are there more PR and comms roles than there are marketing roles? Is that what?
Exactly. So is there more scope for PR comms as opposed to marketing?
Marwa, do you want to answer that?
I would say just be ready for both. I see a lot of appetite for directors of comms and comms professionals, specifically in Abu Dhabi. That's I can speak of very comfortably. In Dubai, I'm not sure. I just think that as technology is infiltrating our industry, there will be a lot more harmony between the two. We won't be separated forever unless you're expected to work for this very big brand that has global presence. Think of the Middle East. We're really a startup region. We have a lot of startups. Startups won't be hiring a PR person and a marketing person. They're going to be hiring one person who is willing to do both. And I have a very interesting, maybe, statistic to share with everybody. So according to PwC, all of the S&P 500 companies that are going to start emerging starting 2025 will have a maximum lifespan of 15 years, instead of companies today that have a lifespan of 160 and 50 years, which means companies will pop up, reinvent themselves, and then pop up again and reinvent themselves. Again, they're going to be looking for agile people, for people who are technology adopters and people who are also talent adopters. I can do PR, I can do marketing, I can do events, I can maybe work with HR on a culture exercise or an EVP exercise. I can do branding. You need to show that passion. You need to show that you can do both. And by the way, the principles are the same. They're not so far away from each other.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anyone got anything to add on that question?
No, I want to make a joke to give you one secret, but it's funny though that PR in the Middle East, it's very simple because being in automotive industry now for the last 14 years, you know how many real automotive journalists you have in the region? Not more than 5, yeah? So, and everyone always ends to write good things. So being PR and thinking when people are coming with the PR experience from the Europe, this is what is the brutal PR. So this is where the journalists are proper journalists who will really drill you down to many things. Here, the journalism is very, very kind, yeah? So don't think you cannot do PR. You can do easily PR beside everything else you're doing, because here, mostly our journalism, ends up with content creator, influencers, and then you really have only few of them. So, and then this media is repeating, and most probably Marwa and myself, we know them all because they're coming from event to event. So the professionalism, the scale of the PR being in the Middle East is completely different than in the rest of the world. It's easier and it's really pleasant to work because at the end ends up on the human and personal connections rather than the professional connections. So I will encourage everyone to try, because you will find yourself ending up in the circle of friends at the end, not really the journalists, because on any PR training, they teach you what you can say and what you cannot say, and then everyone that you speak to, it's actually the journalist. Well, really in the Middle East, it's not that case. So you can really be more relaxed and friendly, and the PR becomes more personal thing than professional thing. Yeah, so go for it. It's easy.
Thank you. Great advice. Justin, anything to add there?
I can tell you now this. I'm going to throw some MCG stats and facts at you. PR and comms is taking up 50% of our placements right now. Okay, so that market is in high demand. The other chunk, 25%, is going into creative, and the other 25% is going into digital marketing. I'm going to call it that, speech marketing, most of which is social. Okay, so the ecosystem I think of as one of the same. I think, and where I'm seeing more people that come in from an expat perspective is through the PR and agency route as opposed to the corporate route at the moment. So there you go. There's some hardcore facts for you, Laura.
Thank you. I love the facts and the stats. I really liked the phrasing of this question, but is KSA market eating the UAE talent pool?
I don't mind saying that. The answer to that is not one bit. You know, absolutely not. I think Saudi in itself, I think Saudi has Saudiization, which I think a lot of people who don't know Saudi very well probably underestimate the impact that's had on the hiring. So you'll find that, yes, there have been some people who've moved over, some very senior expatriate moves, but really a big part of Saudi's growth is very focused on bringing Saudis into the workplace. I think there is the moves. The senior folks that I know have moved over from the UAE to Saudi a couple of years ago. Quite a few of them are coming back now. Some, you know, some are on contracts where their role is to train and develop the local workforce. I think the two will continue to rise and grow, but I think Saudis will be a lot more localized than the UAEs will.
Okay, thank you. And anything to add, ladies?
I really don't have experience. No, nothing to add.
Okay. I just want to segue back to AI because we did have lots of questions about that still in the second section. And I thought this was quite an interesting one because it's down to individual opinions, but what is too much while using AI? Whoever can start, whoever wants to.
I'm happy to go because I've seen team members on my team use AI. You need to remember that this technology works for you. So some of them use it as, you know, this is the ultimate helper, and they don't question it, they don't refine it. And I can tell, you know, I can tell when I read a piece, let's say on writing, if this is 100% AI or not. And I usually send it back. And I tell them the technology is supposed to work for you. You're not supposed to just prompt it once. If you are an inquisitive person, and if you are someone who's very passionate to keep your own personal touch on your work, it's going to work for you. If you're going to surrender and just, you know, use it in a lazy way, it's going to work against you. So please remember that this is a tool that you use to improve your work, not for it to do your job 100%. I recently sent an email to my team saying, I'm thrilled to tell you that you're not allowed to put the word I'm thrilled in any of your content anymore, because the minute I read it, I know this is AI generated. So just make sure that this technology is serving you, but you keep your own unique perspective into what you're producing as well.
Okay, thank you. Justin, I know that you are all about authenticity. So would you like to add anything to that?
Well, I just going to say, and I'm sure everyone that can spot this, the bit that drives me mad with AI is when someone writes a nice LinkedIn post and then you get this flurry of AI contributors underneath who all sort of say the same thing, you know, and you can tell it's not their real opinion, it's what AI thinks their opinion should be. And then AI starts replying to their AI. And of course, so what you've got is just this conversation of bots going on underneath what you thought was quite a nice, authentic post. So if someone can remove the AI commenters, that would be, I think I'd be a lot happier. I like this. You know, let's go back to a couple of spelling mistakes and the odd swear word.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. And but you cannot avoid that Microsoft owns LinkedIn and Microsoft owns half of the ChatGPT. You know, like it's just when you then start drilling into politics, you see that actually LinkedIn is now testing platform for the AI because it's owned by Microsoft. So I think they will never. I think it will be even worse. And I start feeling the same below my post, and I was like, "What, really?" You know, it's a bit disappointing because you really think you put your thoughts and you put your heart and soul there because these are the things you stand for and you want to share with the audience. But then, yeah, you get these AI generating answers. But at the end of the day, it's a mix. You still find people who really want to engage with you in the honest conversation.
But Anja, I find that they'll direct message you now as well. They'll make an effort to get in touch with you. You're right. I think the comments now are just becoming quite amusing and bizarre.
Yeah, true.
Okay, this is my final question. And someone has asked about, you know, if they were to move to Saudi, is knowing the language more of a requirement that it would be for the UAE, for example?
I'll take that. Yeah, yes, it is. You know, let's, you know, I think people are very used to being in the UAE, who are in the UAE, used to seeing expats, thinking about their international market. And Saudi is international, but it's not got anything like the amount of expats there. Arabic is the first language. A lot of people do, you know, Arabic is the first language. Okay, so yes, it would be a competitive advantage for you to speak Arabic. And the chances are you have, I mean, normally the people that are getting hired in Saudi that we work on are those that are niched out in a skill set or very experienced. Okay. So you probably need a fusion of everything to give yourself the best chance.
Okay, great. Right, I am going to wrap it up there and just say thank you so much to everybody for your questions. If you did have to dip off or you didn't get to see all of the webinar, we're going to send it out. It's recorded, so we'll send it to all registrants after the webinar. I am going to hand back to Sarah now just to close it all up and say goodbye.
Thanks, Laura, and thank you everyone for your questions. And a final big thank you to Marwa, Anja, and Justin for all of their fantastic insights that they shared with us today. It was very interesting, so thank you so much. If anyone from the webinar wants to keep up with what you're doing, what's the best way to be able to see anything that you're putting out there or stay in touch with you? Justin, you first. I'm guessing it's LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, I've got LinkedIn, absolutely. If you're interested in a recruiter's entrepreneurial journey as well, I've got a channel on YouTube that you can follow. So those are the best ways to sort of keep in touch and find out what's going on.
Perfect. Marwa?
Yeah, you can keep in touch with me on marwakaabour.com. I have my website and I put a lot of blogs out there for marketeers. I would respond faster on my website than on LinkedIn. I'm a bit overwhelmed with my LinkedIn inbox at the moment.
Thank you. And Anja?
You can find me on LinkedIn, write to me, and then both Marwa and myself, we are sitting in the board of Marketing Society. So we are still running the scholarship program until 1st of November. So everyone maybe on the call who has less than 5 years of experience, they can submit their CVs, not CVs, but their profiles for the scholarship program. I've been part of it last year. Guarantee, guys, like it's the best thing you can get. It's free of charge if you're selected and you're getting the 10 sessions from absolutely amazing mindsets to teach you. So that's one. And you can meet Marwa and myself to any of upcoming programs that are coming from Marketing Society. We are having our flagship conference on Thursday. So we are very active when it comes to marketing, and I'm start getting a little bit more engaged with the people operations and the recruitment as well. But still, this is where you can find us.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for all of your time and insights today. We will send the recording round, as Laura said, so if you want to watch it back and listen to the insights again, you're more than welcome to do so. But that's us finished for today. So thank you everyone for joining us, and thanks again to the panel.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.